let's go to South Africa and talk about the headline unemployment rate hitting a record high of 34.4% in the second quarter of April to June 2021 from 32.6% in the first 3 months of the year, because businesses are shedding staff due to the devastating economic impact of COVID-19, and that was according to Reuters news agency today. That rate was the highest in terms of unemployment since South Africa's Statistics Office quarterly labor force survey began in 2008. A total of 7.826 million people are out of work in 3 months to the end of June. But how did Africa's most advanced economy and the most industrial economy get into the current unemployment trap, and what is the likely way out of it? Speaking to me on this now from Johannesburg is economist Clive Ramathibela-Smith. Sir, we thank you very much for making the time this evening to be with us on the show. This is as grim as the number could look, but is this latest unemployment figure consistent with general expectations of businesses in South Africa?
Thank you very much for having me, and I hope that you are having a lovely evening. And it's certainly a sad position that South Africa finds itself in. It's something that nobody obviously expected. We had done our little research on the side. We were expecting at least a decrease of about 0.8%. But to see a whole percentage, which is 1.8% worse than where we were sitting, certainly left us, with a bit of sourness in our mouths. And the numbers, as you would have seen, my brother, are really much in the manufacturing numbers that have not been really convincing. Obviously, we understand that the pandemic would have had some serious contribution to the lackluster performances of different sectors, but also we were expecting that it would have done some form of improvement, because the government has been singing a lot about making sure that they are going to be supporting the business. But not only that, there was 500 billion rand that was set aside by the South African government to try and maintain continuity in terms of business, which obviously has come to a complete halt and has failed to try and protect those jobs. So that's the reality. If somebody,
when you said you were optimistic that the jobless numbers would slightly decline by less than 1%, what are the factors of which you were thinking, or you were projecting this decline in number of the jobless rate?
A very good question. And the answer is also very convincing, because we did the research prior to the numbers coming out. And to answer your good question, we had 3 factors that we thought would contribute positively to the South African economy. One of them being that we saw a sharp decline in the oil prices, which we pay quite relatively expensive numbers for, to have the Brent crude being delivered here in Durban. And the second thing that we were looking at was the PMIs, the purchasing manufacturing indicators, that would have indicated a better expectation of the South African economy. So the manufacturing numbers, particularly in the months leading up to the third quarter, which are falling in the second quarter, were looking very strong. And it's not just me that thinks this. Maybe people are thinking maybe Clive is a little bit crazy and has lost his marbles. But we had some convincing numbers from some of the independent business marketers here. We had some good numbers from Business Confidence South Africa, which statistics just proved that we were in the right frame of mind to think that. But unfortunately, it didn't happen, my brother. Yeah, but it wasn't there.
One very naughty question for me, even as a journalist, is how did South Africa, Africa's most advanced and industrialized economy, got into this unemployment trap, in a manner of speaking, even before it gets all compounded by the virus pandemic? How did we get here?
That is a brilliant question, and I don't have the time, I know, because you always keep me on a tight leash. But I'm gonna quickly go through the 3 elements that we have discovered have become a predicament to the South African economy. The first one is we failed to change fundamentally people's thinking about education in the country. So people in the country, as you know, the country was former apartheid. In 1994, as the new dispensation took place, we failed to train our people to be prepared for the new form of economy. We failed to train our people to understand that we're going to have new reforms. We're going to need engineers. We're going to need more doctors. We're going to need more scientists. We're going to need more technologically expanded people. And so our young people, unfortunately, particularly in high school, are still doing the same old subjects that you and I here have done, which are not going to help because they're good for media, but not so good to expand an economy like the size of South Africa and Nigeria, for that example, for a fact. The second thing that we failed to do post the apartheid regime is to fail to educate and empower the middle age, which is I reckon, from 40 to 60. If you look at those numbers, unemployment numbers, that group still is sitting, and about 350,000 of them, believe it or not, have become inactive, meaning that they're not old enough to stop looking for work, but they are not prepared to go and take the necessary steps to get a little bit of a degree or a little bit of a certificate for them to be able to advance their skills so that they can participate in the jobs market. So we haven't done that. The last one is a fundamental one. It's very important because we have failed to utilize what we call the reformations, the Black Business Economic Forums, the Black Business Empowerment,
the BBE,
to create the BBE. We failed to use that to our advantage. What we did was we used that to actually just make money. And I don't want to lie to you, Black people in this country have made money, but it's the same percentage of people that are still in the top 1% of the country. Yeah. What does that tell you? That tells you that it's the same people that still benefits from the same business companies that have made the transactions with, that are listed on the Johannesburg Exchange.
Clive. Yeah. Clive, very quickly, in 30 seconds, do you think the administration in Pretoria has its fingers on these buttons and looking to change the numbers in terms of unemployment?
If you mean fingers, that you mean that they have their hands in there, I'll say no. I think they've got their feet in there. But, as Africans, we eat feet for lunch. But
this is a very serious matter. Don't just keep me getting cracked up. But I got the point, by the way. I got a point. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time being with us this evening. Clive Ramathibela-Smith out of Johannesburg.